Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सर्ववेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविंदं परमानंदं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. Hरि Om, salutations to all. So we had seen in 530 Nadesha Kalasana Adi, Nadesha Kalasana Digyamadi. There is no special requirement for this sage to know the self. Desha, Kala, Asana, Dig, Yama, Laksha, Apeksha, Apratibadha Vrittehe. For us as seekers, these are important. Yesterday in the talk, if I have said that sleep south, keeping the head in the south or north, etc., maybe some confusion. You find out for yourself based on whatever the rotation of the earth and all that. They will say clearly which side you should sleep with the head. Prayer time, that much I am very clear. Face the east, face the north. But sleeping with the head in the south or head in the north, I'm not sure about that. That one has to find out. So for us, those things make a difference. Somebody who has gone beyond body identification as well as transcended the Jiva Bhav, those things don't make any difference. Samsiddha Tattvasya Mahatmanosti. Swavedaneka Niyamadyavastha. To know oneself, what kind of rules one has to follow. So now this thought is carried forward in the next few verses. 3 verses, I think. Yeah. Ghatoyamiti vijñātum niyamah konvapekshate. Ghatoyamiti vijñātum niyamah konvapekshate. Vina pramana sushtutvam yasmin sati padarthadhihi. I don't know what is in your book. If the second half, sorry, the first line, last word is konvapekshate. If it is ksha and te, it should be kshya and te. Half ksha and ya, apekshyate. Apekshyate means expect. So, ghatoyamiti vijñātum, to know that this is a pot. Niyama ko, niyamaha kaha anvapekshate. That is a full splitting. What is the conditions necessary? What are the rules necessary to know that this is a pot? Example is being given. This is a pot. Vina pramana sushtutvam yasmin sati padarthadhihi. Except that pramana must be sushtu. Pramana means valid means of knowledge. Sushtu means good. So the means of knowledge that we use, that must be appropriate. That's all is the requirement of a praman to gain knowledge. To gain knowledge of anything, the means should be valid, it should be proper, it should be good for use. Yasmin sati padarthatihi. Then the person will know, intellectually comprehension will happen, this is this. Which means to realize the self, what is a valid means of knowledge? Shastra is a valid means of knowledge. And our mind must be ready, mind must be pure. Example given here is of the pot, because pot that's an external example. So if I see a pot and the knowledge of pot has to rise in the buddhi, what is required? The eyes must be able to see clearly. That's all is required. The eye is the means to gain the knowledge of the form. Pramana, sushtu. Eyes must be without defects, which should be proper. So if the eyes are functioning well, then I will know this is the pot. Obviously, that knowledge arises when the knower contacts the known. So thus the principle is, when the knower contacts the known, then the knowledge has to arise. If the known is present, and still the knowledge is not rising, then there has to be some defect in the knower. So the knower is there, known is there, knower is contacting the known also, and still knowledge is not rising, then there has to be some defect in the knower only, not in the known. But if both these are proper, then immediately knowledge will arise. So now taking that further, see, what is one point important to understand in this context is, as far as the object is concerned, it is very easy. But as far as the subject is concerned, we many times don't use the valid means of knowledge. And that's why Shraddha in the scripture, the Shastra is necessary, because it is a Shabda Praman. This truth is not available for Pratyaksha Praman. Direct perception it is not available. And so many people want to gain the knowledge of the truth only through direct perception. How can I get the knowledge of the form using ears? Ears are the means to get the knowledge of sound. Eyes are the means to get the knowledge of the form. No, somebody is telling me, then I can understand. You can imagine. You won't see directly. If I want to directly see something, I have to use my eyes. I cannot use my ears. I cannot use my mouth. For eating food, can I use my ears? I cannot use. No, Swamiji, COVID ho gaya. Smell is not there, taste is not there. So let me put through the ear. Impossible. Valid means of knowledge has to be used even in finite cases to gain the knowledge. If I want to get the knowledge of physics, I can't read a book of chemistry. But how strange it is that human being doesn't apply the valid means of knowledge to realize Brahman. All invalid means of knowledge one applies and says there is no God. That is stupidity. I can't see God, so there is no God. Very good. So you didn't apply the valid means of knowledge. This knowledge the knowledge of Brahman is not available for Pratyaksha Praman, all that we have seen earlier. Direct perception you can't know. Inference also one cannot use. Anumana Praman you cannot use. Because inference is based on direct perception. If the ground is wet, when I wake up, I infer that it must have rained when I was asleep. So that Anuman Praman is also based on direct perception. So neither Pratyaksha is possible nor Anuman is possible. Upama, analogy, eulogy, none of those means are possible. Only Praman directly available is Shabda Praman to know the nature of the self, because it is indicating the self. Using the Shastra Praman, the valid means of knowledge, the pointers of the self are indicated. Using those pointers, one can know. So one is to use the proper praman, and second is this means of knowledge has to be used by the purified mind, mind which is pure, intellect which is subtle. Otherwise, one may use Shabda Praman, but one will still not know. So that we should be clear about, that in the seeing, in the knowledge of a pot, just like we use the eye and we know this is a pot, so clearly can we perceive this is the self when we use the right means of knowledge and the equipment is tuned properly. There will be no doubt. In fact, the knowledge of the pot is delayed knowledge, actually speaking. First, the knowledge that I am has to rise, then this is a pot can rise. If I am doesn't rise, this is a pot will not rise. So the realization of the self is more easier, in fact, than knowing this is a pot. But why? Because the knowledge that I am, aham, has to be there, not aham jiva. Pure I. The pure I is always present. But today I am not able to realize that, though it is me, because the mind has got extroverted, because I am not using a valid means. So now that is what is said here, that we have to use proper means of knowledge to know what is what. So now applying this to the self. Ayamatma nitya siddhaha pramane sati bhasate nadesham napi va kalam na shuddhim va pi apekshate. Everywhere they have written apekshate only. Maybe it is the right usage, apekshate or apekshyate, possible. Because when I was studying in Vedant course, there I have written apekshyate. I struck, my teacher must have said apekshyate. Okay. So ayam atma nitya siddha. This atma is nitya siddha, is always attained. Means it is our true self even right now. Pramane sati bhasate. Using the pramana, it only is illumined, or we become aware of it. Nadesham napi va kalam. So there is no special place required, there is no special time necessary. Na shuddhim va api apekshate. Not dependent on shuddhi also. Just now you said purity of mind is required, now you say shuddhi also is not required. Brahman doesn't require any shuddhi because Brahman never becomes impure. But the mind requires shuddhi. And this is speaking about external shuddhi may not be required. Internal shuddhi is definitely required. Otherwise, well, we will not know. In the translation, Gurudev has written that in the word to the translation of the shloka is written there. It is dependent neither on place nor time nor outward purity. That obviously is not a sanction to be impure outside and do anything. The point here is that this knowledge is not dependent on anything external. Place. You don't have to go to a specific place to realize Brahman. You don't have to go to at only specific time, Brahma Muhurat, can you realize Brahman. Or only after you take a bath, you will realize Brahman. Those are Sahakari Sadhan. If you remember, in the beginning, it has come. Adhikarinam ashaste phala siddhir visheshataha. Upaya desha kaladhyaha santi asmin sahakarinaha. The the place where we go, the time where how we spend, to realize Brahman, these are secondary. Main is adhikarina. The qualities here and here, head and heart. On that depends realization. Phala siddhi, mainly, visheshata. Desha kaladya santyasmin sahakarina. Place, time, etc. are secondary sadhan. They are not main. They have an impact because we are affected by our BMI. We are attached to BMI, so we are affected by the things. So you can't sit and go in a, you can't go and sit in a disco and try to contemplate. Why? Because it is said, no time, no place, you can go anywhere. Use appropriate place, appropriate time. There is no doubt in that. But realization is not dependent mainly on that. That's the point to understand. Because we spend more time in, correcting those things. Get the right type of kusha grass mat. Tell everybody, don't disturb me, I'm going to meditate. Get up early morning at Brahma Muhurta. Some such things one does. Nothing wrong in doing any of it by itself, but without preparing inside, if one is going to just try any of this, it will not work. So to know one, the point actually to be understood here is to know oneself. I am, nothing is required. No other means is required because that is the knowledge which illumines everything else. That knowledge rises first. See that. Devadattohamityetat vijnanam nirapekshakam tadvad brahmavidopyasya brahmahamiti vedanam. I am Devadatta. Devadattoham. Iti etad vijnanam. This knowledge, nirapekshakam, that is independent of any condition. Tadvat Brahmavid api asya. In the same way, the knower of Brahman also, Brahmahamiti Vedanam, realizes that I am Brahman. How effortlessly Devadatta, example is of I am Devadatta, meaning I am the individuality. So I am Devadatta, that example, how that person knows effortlessly I am Devadatta. No means are required. Do you go to a specific place to realize you are Devadatta? Now that I have reached the mountain top of Kailash, nobody climbs Kailash anyway. Chalo, I reached Kailash, base of Kailash, the base of Kailash, Mount Kailash I have reached. Now I know I am Devadatta. You don't need to go to Kailash to know you are Devadatta. Will you know you are Devadatta only at Brahma Muhurat time? No. Will you know that you are Devadatta only if some people praise you? No. Do you know that you are Devadatta only when you sit in a particular posture and try to meditate? No. None of them are required externally. I know I am without any means. That is called aparoksha anubhuti. Immediate knowledge without a medium. Today I know myself only as a medium, through a medium of the mind. So I am happy, I am sad, I am, angry, frustrated, I am loving, all those things. I know myself through the BMI. Who am I really? No idea. But just as effortlessly one knows I am Mr. So and so the Jiva, that effortlessly this person knows I am Brahman, but the difference is this person knows without any medium. It's an immediate knowledge. And the immediate knowledge arises when this identification with BMI is gone, because that knowledge is always there. Sada sarva, I am Atma Nitya Siddha is always present. So Brahman is realized by this person as effortlessly. So that person doesn't need any other external means. That's why when one goes to a teacher, what is expected is only purity of mind. And that also, if it is not there, teacher helps the student to get that also. Nothing else is required. No externality is required. No, you don't have to carry any asana, or you don't have to carry that functionally. If you want to take for yourself, one and take and go. But otherwise, nothing is expected. No tools are required. Nothing. Just go to the teacher with the ready mind. One will realize Brahman. That's all is required. So, without mediation, without any, in fact, the sadhana is to drop attachment to all mediums that we have. We know ourselves through only mediums, body, mind, intellect. To drop that attachment is what is required. New medium is not required. Do we know ourselves only when we wear glasses? No, even when glasses are not there, we know who we are. Do we know ourselves only when we use the phone? No, without the phone also we know who we are. Same way, we don't need anything else, including BMI, to know who I am. But at the moment, because we are identified with the BMI, so the purification and the unification of the BMI has to happen. Then only we can transcend it to realize that I was always Brahman. The waker is always lying on the bed. The waker has no need of any instrument of the dream to know that he is a waker. But instruments of the dream are required for the dream character to wake up from the illusion that I am the dream character. But that fact is, it is temporary, it is not real. So the waking character in the dream may use, the dream character in the dream may use any tools to get vairagya from the dream world, that detachment from the dream world, dispassion from the dream world. So Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, all that one can cultivate. For what? Not that Brahmagyan is produced by that. To detach from the unreal. The real is always present. And that real, in the presence of the real alone, the unreal also is experienced, no, actually. If the waker is not there, how will the dream character experience anything? So even if when we say I am ignorant is known because there is knowledge in us. Brahma Vidya is there, the knowledge is there of Brahman. And Brahman itself is there, which illumines every single thought, including thought of ignorance. So there is no point in time where I am not realized. So we are not seeking some God whom we don't know. People may think any of those things. The religion, they are seeking God. I don't believe in God. You don't believe in God means you don't believe in your true self. Means you believe in non-existence of your own self. How funny is that? I don't believe in I believe in my non-existence. I'm a non-believer. A super. Continue to believe. Who is that non-believer? I. Who is that I that exists? No, that is God. How can there be a non-believer? Non-believer is believing in his own non-existence. That means you are existing. So that is God. That's all. So how will you say that I am a non-believer, I am an atheist? You can never be an atheist. It is impossible to be an atheist, actually speaking. But in the world, people are atheists because they reject certain concepts of God, which doesn't appeal to them. That let them do. That is not a problem. But inquire into the real concept. If you are rejecting the false, no problem, reject the false. God is sitting up in the heaven. God is punishing people. Okay, reject. That is up to you. Then inquire from where this whole universe came. Or it came from matter. A matter, from where it came. How does a matter function without sentiency? Inquire into all that. You will come to I. That I can never be negated. That is you. Over. So that I is the purest consciousness. That doesn't need anything else. In its presence, everything else is known. It doesn't need anything else. So that's why it says here that we don't need anything else to know who we are. If we drop all attachments to whatever we think we are, so all the unreal drop, then I know who I am. So Devadatto ham iti etad vijnanam nirapekshakam. Brahmaham iti vedanam. How strange is this? Now, life after life after life, one is going round and round and round to know that I am already Brahman. Maya, that is the power of Maya. Makes us think that Brahman is not there, first of all. Somehow I come to understand, okay, Brahman is there. Then objectify that Brahman. So I think Brahman is somewhere else. So now I want to seek that Brahman. Then makes us believe, no, Brahman is inside, but in a special way only I can know it. Nothing. When we come to realize Brahman, we just wake up from the dream. That's all. We realize that I was a waker all the time. Dream was a big illusion. So that is the condition. We are going round and round, life after life after life, not knowing we are already what we are seeking. So what has to be done? Prepare the equipment, purify it, and don't worry about externalities. No, Swamiji, I am a grahasti, I can't realize Brahman. Just now it is said, externalities, desha, kala, all that doesn't apply. So many rishis are grahastis. Renunciation of false identification with the BMI is required. That's all. If that helps, renunciation externally helps in doing that, do it. If that much vairagya has come, then do it. The Upanishad says, Yad ahareva viraje, tad ahareva pravraje. That morning or that day when you get intense vairagya and it is sustained, not a passing emotion. When there is sustained intense vairagya, that day leave. If you need that, do it. Otherwise, stay at home, continue to do nididhyasan, chitta shuddhi, upasana, all that. Purify the equipment. In nididhyasan, drop the equipment. Then one realizes, all the time I was the consciousness only. This equipment is functioning because of I. So that is the sadhana that has to be done. Bhanune vajagat sarvam bhasate yasya tejasa anatmakam asattucham kimnu tasyava bhasakam. Now we say, the example is given now. Bhanuna eva jagat sarvam bhasate. By the sun alone, this whole universe is illumined. Jagat sarvam bhasate. Yasya tejasa anatmakam asat tucham. By whose brilliance this world of names, forms, etc., which is anatma, which is asat, and which is tuchha. It is anatma, it is not self, because it is jada also by itself. Anatmakam. Asat, it is unreal. Not even illusion, it is unreal. Here, because we are saying anatma, then one says, okay, it's an illusion. But otherwise, unreal means it never came into existence. But when we are here in this level, then we say, okay, asat here it means it is illusion. So it is not self, it is illusion, and tucham. Very inferior. Compared to what? Brahman. Changeless Brahman, compared to that, this is continuously changing. It is tucham. Kimnu tasya avabhasakam. What can illumine that consciousness which is illumining this world? That's the meaning. Just like the sun which is illumining the whole universe is not illumined by something else. In the same way, this consciousness illumines the entire world of waking, dream, deep sleep. Nothing in the world can illumine the consciousness, because the consciousness is the main illuminer. One. Two, the rest of the things don't have any power to illumine by itself because it is anatmakam. It is not self. It is jada. It is inert. Asat. It is illusion and it is tuchcha. It has no power of its own. So what does this mean to say? We are thinking that something else will illumine, then I will know. Because that is the way we gain knowledge in the world. We need some book, we need some article on the web, or we need some app we have to download. We need something else to gain the knowledge. Because objective knowledge is other than I. So the mediums I use also are other than I to know about those things. So it may be books and DVDs and talks and videos and whatever. So many means we use to know, to get the objective knowledge. Now same thing we are trying to apply in the subjective realm also. We are trying to know the subject as an object. We are trying to use some other means. So we think in a special condition, in a special way, in a special place, in a special time, one will know Brahman. Nothing. None of those are required. Because subject is not an object. Subject is always the subject. It will never become the object. Those things we have seen earlier. Atma will never become Anatma. The Atma may illumine the Anatma. Anatma is only an appearance, it is not real actually. That's why it is illusory. Anatmakam asat. It is illusory, it is not real. It's an appearance of the Atma because I am not seeing the Atma. The snake is appearing as the rope is appearing as the snake because I am not seeing the rope. Otherwise, the snake is not there actually. So, the usual means which we adopt, body, mind, intellect, they cannot be used because they are illumined by the subject. Just like the sun illumines the whole world, nothing in the world can illumine the sun back. Same way, Atma is illumining body, mind, intellect, and this world of object, emotions, and thoughts. Nothing here can illumine that Atma because by itself it is Jada Vastu. Like Gurudev used to give the example of the torch. This battery cannot illumine the lamp coming. Sorry, the lamp cannot illumine the battery. His lamp is that which is getting its light from the source, which is the battery. Now, if the lamp is detached from the battery and the lamp tries to illumine the battery, it can't do that. Same way, what does this mean? Not to try to objectify Brahman, not to try to think that only in a special condition I will know Brahman. Yes, purity of mind we should cultivate. That is not a quality that Brahma Vidya depends upon. That is a quality for us to be able to realize Brahman. It is not that Brahma Jnana is produced by a pure mind. Brahma Jnana is not produced by anything. Brahma Jnana is Brahmani. Brahma Jnana is equal to Brahman. That difference we have to know. Knowledge of apple is not equal to apple. Apple is outside. Oh, this is apple. That this is apple is not equal to apple. Luckily, otherwise you can't. The moment you know it, it will become one with you. No. This is apple is a knowledge. Apple remains separate, you remain separate. In that way, one cannot know I am Brahman. This is Brahman. Brahma Jnana doesn't rise like that. It is not an object to know that. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. So purity of mind, does Brahma Jnana depend on purity of mind? That only when pure mind is there, then Brahman is realized. So that means Brahma Jnana depends on purity of mind. No, Brahma Jnana doesn't depend on anything. It is independent. It is there right now because Brahma Jnana is Brahman. But purity of mind is the condition necessary for the jiva to recognize that, so that the jiva drops all body identification. Brahma Jnana is Brahma Jnana. It is not produced by a pure mind. So what will meditation do? It will never produce Brahman because Brahman is always there. Then what meditation will do? It will remove all the impurities and destroy the ignorance. Ignorance is in the intellect. Knowledge also rises in the intellect, which will destroy that ignorance. Brahman is Brahman. It is not producing Brahman. So while purity of mind must be cultivated, we should know that Brahmagyan doesn't depend on purity of mind. That when the mind is pure, it will produce Brahmagyan. No, Brahmagyan is Brahman. So when the mind is pure, it will recognize that there is only Brahman and it dissolves itself. There is no entity left. Mr. So-and-so is not there. Brahmagyan or Brahman alone is. So that is how it doesn't need anything else. I am saying all this because otherwise, when people think, the two misconceptions are that either one says ki Brahmagyan requires a purity of mind, without that one will never realize. Or one says nothing is required for Brahmagyan, so why should I do sadhana? These are two extremes. Nothing is required for Brahmagyan, so why should I do sadhana? This small I is what is causing that illusion, right? That is what is caused, that is what is getting trapped, and that is going round and round and round. That small I has to know who am I truly. So one can't just intellectually dismiss all sadhana and all purity of mind, etc. At the same time, one can't say that Brahmagyan is produced by purity of mind, because that is false. If something is produced by something, it will get destroyed. Purity of mind doesn't produce Brahman. But purity of mind is a necessary condition to dissolve the false sense of doership and the jiva bhav that we have. Brahman remains as it is. So that's why he says, just like the sun illumines this whole universe, nothing can illumine back the sun in the universe. Same way, the body, mind, intellect, the object, emotions and thoughts, they cannot illumine Brahman. Brahman is actually illumining them. So the only method is withdraw from all that which is unreal. So anatmakam, asat and tucham. Whatever is these three, drop it. Definitely in contemplation one should drop. I'm not talking about externally dropping. As I said, if that has to be done, do that also. Otherwise, in contemplation, drop. Internally drop. No question of doing anything else, attaining something from outside, some light, some vision, some power, some siddhi. None of that will lead to Brahmagyan. That's why great masters don't give any importance to any siddhi, because that's in the realm of the mind only. Definitely it is better than the other mind which is dissipated, distracted, wandering. At least this person has made the mind single point and attain a certain power of the mind. It is better than that. But if the purity of mind is not there, then one will use that power to destroy. Asuras are examples of that. They get Bhagwan's darshan also, and still they use the boons to boost their ego and destroy themselves, destroy other people. So siddhis, powers, nothing is required. All one has to do, drop, drop, drop. One will realize I am already Brahman. Veda Shastra Puranani Bhutani Sakalanyapi Yenarthavanti Tam Kinno Vijñātāram Prakāṣayet. So he says Veda, Shastra, Puranani, all the scriptures, the Vedas, the Puranas, Bhutani Sakalanyapi, and all other beings, Yena Arthavanti, they are endowed by meaning because of this. Yena Arthavanti, Tam means that Brahman. Kinnu Vijñātāram Prakāṣayet. That real knower, who will illumine that real knower, because of which all these are able to function. Same thought what we have seen earlier, just this chain of thought is continuing here. The entire knowledge of the Vedas, the scriptures, etc. comes from Brahman. Yasya Nishwasitam Vedaha, it is said. One whose breath is the Vedas. Meaning it is one with Brahman. Veda, that's why we say Veda Bhagavan. For us, Veda is not a book. It is written in book form for us to refer and understand. Because Veda is not book. Veda is knowledge. And as I said, Brahma Gyan is equal to Brahman. Of course, Veda has everything else, not just Brahma Gyan. But we consider Veda as Veda Bhagavan. Because through that only we realize who we are. And it is sacred knowledge, divine knowledge, not a human created knowledge. Mantras are revealed to the great masters. Mantra Drashtara they are called. Who reveals them? Bhagavan only reveals. So it's a revelation of Bhagavan, not human composition. So it's an insight of Bhagavan directly, not individual's insight. So we worship that as Veda Bhagavan. So Veda also is from appearance of that supreme reality. Veda, Shastra, Purani, Bhutani, all these beings also, Sakalanyapi, all of them. Yena Arthavanti, they are able to do what they do. So scriptures illumine and give us the knowledge, and beings apply and live in the world, and they experience happiness and various other results in their life. All this they are able to do by whose presence, by whose grace, that consciousness, here it is called as Vijñātaram, the knower, the true knower, not the small jiva. Tam Vijñātaram kinnu prakashaye. Vijñātaram, we should not think of it as the jiva. The real knower is not the mind, because if the consciousness doesn't illumine the mind, how will mind know anything? It can't know anything. The real knower is the absolute truth. Though it is functioning through this mind, and so it appears as though it has become finite, but it has not become finite. Like the sun reflecting on in the bucket of water, never is bound by that water or the size of that bucket. It is unlimited. It is up there. Same way. Yena arthavantitu. All these have a meaning because of presence of consciousness. If that consciousness is not there, one will not know anything. One can't do anything. One can't feel anything. That ultimate knower, feeler, doer, how can anything else illumine that? So that is the meaning here. in Gurudev's commentary, here in the last paragraph, if you see, he has said, therefore, at the time of Samadhi, it is meaningless to discuss what is that because of which I am experiencing this infinite consciousness. What is that because of which I am in the state of Samadhi, I am experiencing infinite consciousness. There is nothing else. That is your true nature. That's it. It is that because of which everything else is experienced. Nothing else can illumine that. And that's why it is Samadhi. The buddhi has become completely absorbed, and this Mr. So and so, this small I, this questioner is dissolved, gone. What remains? Brahman. Direct perception, direct experience. Who is the experiencer? That is limitation of language now. We can't say. Brahman is experiencing Brahman. That's all. Because Jiva cannot experience Brahman. The finite can never experience infinite. One small wave cannot experience this whole ocean. But the wave can realize I am water. Then what is the realization? Water realizes itself. That's the realization. Because the fact is water only is there. There is no wave. So who realizes? Brahman realizes Brahman. Who are you? I am that Brahman. Over. Jiva will never realize Brahman. If we think that I will realize Brahman, that means I think I will realize Brahman like an object. So I remains. I doesn't remain. I goes away. That is Brahman. That's why this is the experience. This is the experience without experiencer. Very unique. Everything else, there is an experiencer separate from the experienced. Object is different, subject is different. They both will contact, then they realize the truth. In this, there is no object and there is no subject, but there is knowledge. There is experience. That's why there is no other way to realize this except nididhyasan and then samadhi and dropping false identification. No other means will work. And the nididhyasan and the samadhi avastha is also because the false identification has to drop. That is not producing Brahman. Brahman is always there. That's why we say Brahman realizes Brahman. Who realizes I am the waker? Waker realizes I am the waker. No, somebody dream character realizes I am the waker. Internet got cut. You know, it is like this. Like this. It will happen in realization. Okay, suddenly you will go into samadhi. Single pointedly, one is contemplating. Gone samadhi avastha. So we were talking. Who realizes Brahman? Brahman realizes Brahman. The waker realizes I am the waker. The dreamer does not realize that I am the waker. Because the dreamer and the dream character, everything is dissolved. So that's what is interesting. The waker realizes I am the waker, I was the waker, I will be the waker. No difference. Example here has limitation that dream happened. Here the realization is the world did not even come into being. That's the big difference. But the point is that, so all these other beings and the Veda, Shastra, and this is a stage where the Vedas also are transcended. You see, in the Veda, that line comes there, the mantra comes, Yatra Vedaha Avedaha Bhavanti. Where the Vedas also become Aveda, meaning they become, their utility is over. Nothing more that they can prescribe. Vedaha Avedaha Bhavanti. It is that state. That's why it says Veda Shastra Puranani Bhutani Sakalanyapi Yenarthavanti Tam Nu Kinnu Tam Kinnu Vijñātāram Prakāṣaye. How will this illumine the knower of all this? The knower in me is the ultimate knower, is what each one has to realize. The ultimate observer, which is what quantum physics says. The ultimate observer who is observing this small eye, this observer who is observing the world, who is observing this observer, that ultimate observer is I. Esha Swayam Jyotirananta Shaktihi Atma Prameya Sakalaनुभूतिः Yameva Vijñāya Vimukta Bandho Jayatyayam Brahma Viduttamaha. Esha Swayam Jyotihi. This is self-illumining. Esha Swayam Jyotihi. Ananta Shaktihi. It is of infinite glory and power. Atma means Esha Atma, this self. Aprameya, immeasurable. Sakalanubhutihi, and it is the direct experience of everybody. Each one feels in their heart, I am, I am, I am, including all the beings, all the other beings, meaning the animals and birds and all of them. They feel I am. Only that they don't have that awareness consciously because that buddhi is not yet ready. Same thing is with us. We are at least aware consciously of our limited individuality. Self-awareness is what they call today. But we are not aware of the absolute reality. Though the buddhi has that capability, we have not used that power. But otherwise, it's there in the hearts of all. Aham, aham, aham. So, sakala anubhuti. It is experienced by all. So, it is not something that is sought where one doesn't know or something very abstract. I keep telling this again and again because people keep thinking all this. All wrong notions we have, so many. Self is very abstract. Acha. Who is saying that? I. From where did this I come? Think about that. Before the aham, pure I doesn't arise, this small I will not arise. Without that big I, you will not know anything gross or subtle or abstract. That is our true self. It is not abstract. It is just that I have subtracted myself from it. That's all. So I think it doesn't exist. So one has to just wake up to that. Yam eva vijnaya vimukta bandha. Knowing that one is freed from all bondage. Jayati ayam brahmavid uttamottamaha. And that this person who realizes Brahman lives the most glorious life of, that is real victory. Jayati ayam. Brahmavid uttama uttamaha. The best amongst the knower of Brahman. The real success, the real victory is to realize Brahman, is to wake up from the dream. In the dream world, one goes on living. How real is that dream world? Imagine a condition where one does not wake up. Longest dream, they say, is some 2-3 minutes. Continuous dream is 2-3 minutes. And when we sleep, some 6-7 hours we sleep. Imagine we don't get up. We just sleep. Not in coma, I am saying. Normal sleep. And go on dreaming, 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 dreaming. How that life will be. Where one has considered that what is unreal to be the real. So dream food, dream water, dream people, dream realities, dream work, dream achievement, everything in the dream. And one thinks that is the world, that is real, and that is how one should be. That's what is happening to us right now. Continuous, we are in a continuous dream. In that example of the dream, one continuous dream is not more than 2-3 minutes, but our continuous dream is to going on and on and on, life after life. The true success is to break this notion that this is real. This is not real. This is illusory. This is not there. What is real? The aham that illumines all this, that alone is real. To realize that is the real victory. And that person has actually fulfilled human birth. No more cycle of birth and death because no more one is in that illusory realm. One has woken up. Does the illusory realm continue after that? Does your dream continue after you have woken up? No. Same way, the world does not exist. It is appearance of real. It's only as though it's an appearance of the self. So this best of the knowers of Brahman will wake up, and that is true success. Jayati ayam brahmavid uttamottamaha. न खिद्यते नो विषयै प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः न खिद्यते. There is no grief. No vishayaihi pramodate. Nor one gets elated. Neither sadness nor elation because of the objects. Na sajjate. Doesn't get attached. Na virajyate cha. Nor one has any aversion. Swasmin sada kridati. Revels in the self. Swasmin. Sada kridati. Revels, enjoys. Nandati swayam. Is in bliss by oneself. Nirantara ananda rasena triptaha. And continuously one is experiencing absolute bliss. Is tripta, is contented, nothing more to be achieved. This is their state. We are in the opposite state. If you remove the word na, everything else applies to us. Khidyate, vishay, pramodyate, sajjate, virajyate. Swasmin sada kridati, we should change it to parasmin sada kridati. In the other things, we go on reveling. Nandati, we don't enjoy by ourselves. Swayam word is not there for us. What we do, we revel in other things. I plus this person or this object or this situation is happiness. So for us it is Nandati Param, other person. Nirantara dukkha rasena atriptaha. That is our shloka. So from that state where we are continuously in grief or in elation, where continuously we are attached or we have aversion, we have to come to this state. I am Brahman, and live in that bliss of absolute self. You know, we want to be happy at all times, but we keep seeking temporary pleasure. Even the happiness, you see, that the happiness in the world outside, try sustaining that happiness. We can't sustain. Why? Because the whole world is temporary, including this experiencer. So that's why law of diminishing returns works. So happiness keeps on reducing. So we need new methods of happiness. It reduces again something, again reduces again something. This we are going on. You know, trampoline is a trampoline. We jump on it, again up, again come down, again up. That keeps happening to us. Or like a pendulum, we keep swinging. And sometimes it is not immediate. So then there is dukkha, there is sorrow, there is pain. All that happens. So when the jiva bhav, jiva goes through all those things. Brahman is beyond. What is being told to us? You can revel in absolute bliss at all times. Nirantara ananda rasanubhuti. And be tripta, be contented in that self. Not contentment of lazy, not contentment which is laziness, not contentment where I somehow compromise with whatever little I have, that's all I to be tripta. No, ananda rasa nitya. Revel in that bliss. Ramakrishna, when he went into that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he said, I was lost in the bliss of consciousness. It's an ocean of consciousness. I was reveling in that. Again, I am saying these are words, language. Okay, don't say ki who was reveling. Just now you said ki there is no person there. When the mind came out of the Nirvikalpa Samadhi Avastha, then he explains all these things. That the experience of that state was absolute bliss. Like how we experienced, I had a power nap, I knew nothing, I was deep sleep. In that state, we are not aware. I'm not saying deep sleep equal to samadhi. There is a big difference. Deep sleep ignorance is there, samadhi illumination is there. But the point is, that is what the Shastra is telling us, that as human being, we can live absorbed in that bliss. And through continuous practice of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, established in that state, then there is unbroken awareness of the self. And the nature of that self is Ananda Rupa. So Nirantar Ananda Anubhuti. So for today we will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.